Hi, hello everyone. I suppose everyone's a little sleepy after lunch, so we are gonna keep it fun. We're gonna keep it entertaining, just like the Web3 and crypto spaces. But before we start, just quick introductions will be in place. I am one to really have yet to achieve of the Coin Republic, and we're super proud to be co-hosting this event, WWC right here in the crypto lands, Paris, Dubai. And we've had a great round of conferences throughout this week. Everyone's super exhausted by now, but it's so great to see everyone show up, the few that did. Thank you so much for joining us on the banners. We started introductions from right there. Adele, hi, thank you so much for joining us. If you can quickly introduce yourself to the audio.
Sure. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Adele, founder and CEO of Traders Pro. I lead one of the marketing agencies here in Dubai for Web3. I've got a booth here, so come say hi. Free perks, you get a video for yourself, and we'll take care of all the editing, so we'll tag you, and just come along, have an interview with us. And I focus on the Web3 marketing side of it, a content perspective. Podcasts right now, video interviews, Twitter Spaces, and hosting services like the MC on conferences. So thank you.
Wow, that is super. Thank you so much. We have Zen from Blockchain X Istanbul.
Hello everyone, my name is Izan. I'm a business developer at Blockchain X Istanbul. We also host an offline event in Istanbul exactly 1 month later. So I do the partnerships and business. So that's basically it. Hopefully we'll see you guys there. Yes.
And of course, we have Crypto Rich.
Hi, excuse me. Hi, everybody. I run a vlog since maybe in 2017 on cryptocurrency, but lately since 2020 really, that life has got very interesting, far too interesting. So I also cover macro politics and macro economics for the state of the world, but I remain a crypto vlogger apart.
We're happiest to be in Rotterdam. And lastly, we have Mehmet from Elbank.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's nice to see you all here, and thank you for the organization to this great event. This is Ekrem from Turkey. I'm the world marketing lead of Elbank Turkey. I have been in crypto ecosystem since 2016, and we are keeping building out together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have some amazing speakers up here today, and the topic itself is quite interesting. We're going to be talking about crypto predictions. We all love predictions, don't we, in the crypto space? I think one thing that runs really well among the crowds is predictions. Now, while I was keen to call it predictions, I like to call it opinion. So let's talk about what your opinions are about what's going to happen in the market next week. Had the amazing halving event just about a day ago, and now the market's still in high level enthusiasm. We can see a lot of people behind the space still. What are your thoughts on what's going to happen next in this space?
Sure, I'm happy to have this kicked off. So as we know, recently we've had great positive approval from the likes of BlackRock, ETF approvals, and their RWA real world assets launch BIDL. With that said, also the Bitcoin halving has just happened recently, and governments like the UAE are very progressive with BARA, Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, and the DFSA, Dubai Financial Services Authority, being very open about how to hang up framework in place for companies to open up here in Dubai. So with that said, with the BlackRock being a very influential powerhouse, embracing this technology, I do believe that also CAFD from ARC ETF, we see, I think definitely, I don't want to put a number to this because I ain't being quoted on what price do you think Bitcoin is going to hit, but I'm not surprised. I'm not going to say that it won't hit 100K. I do believe it will. And this may be the year that it does hit that. We had that all-time high of 73K this year itself. Had a correction, Bitcoin halving as well, as I think meaning is going to make Bitcoin as a price more rare to have, it's more exclusive because there's less blocks. So with that said, I will say if I have to put a number, it will definitely hit around 100K this year.
What do you have to say to that?
Gisnan. So because of the nature of blockchain, which is decentralized and transparent, I do believe the adaptation, especially in the future, it's going to be a lot wider than it is right now. I don't want to say any number in terms of prediction, but I do believe because of the adaptation and also the potential of blockchain, it's gonna go even bigger than it is right now because it has so much potential, and it can also, a lot of business can also benefit from blockchain. It is already benefiting. So we are just in the beginning. So we have on the road, we're just in the beginning of the big road, and I do believe there's so much can happen. Yes, that's what I want to say right now.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
Are people getting rich in crypto? Will everyone be crypto rich soon?
Well, I want to do this. I want to give a couple of predictions, and then if it's okay with you, if I can ask people what do they think.
Absolutely.
And I think the most important thing, or what we're really motivated by, is not where do I think it's going to go, where do I want it to go? Where do I want it to go? I want it to go till it's worth 100 million, billion, trillion, zillion, right? But of course, the problem with that is then the dollar, by the time that happens, the dollar really will be worthless. And so will every other fiat currency. One thing I am pretty clear about that is going to happen is there's going to be a spread of cryptocurrencies into the animal kingdom. So we've had dog face coins, we've got cat face coins, we've got frog face coins, there's a raccoon face coin. So there'll be more and more of the animal kingdom moving into cryptocurrencies. I don't know if that's going to go anywhere, but I think part of the issue with, for all of us in terms of predicting, making predictions, is life is full of surprises. You know, I would have no idea. I had no idea in March 2020 how life was going to work out with the lockdowns or the way the governments were. And I had no idea, you know, when I first bought some Bitcoin in 2013 about where it was going to go. And then all the developments that have come about since with the Layer 1 and Layer 2 and the Layer 3 protocols. Who knows what's going to come? But I'm interested, if I can, if there's anybody here, so we can make this a little bit more decentralized. And if you weren't here this morning, so I had a decentralized conversation where everybody who was seated got an opportunity to be a node in that conversation. Do you want if I did that? Right? So I just want to check, right, that the nodes are working. So could you just, you don't have to say to me, by the way, could you just all please raise your right arm? I can see you if you don't. Raise your hand. Raise your right arm. And this is not a trait. You're not volunteering for anything. I just want to check functionality. And raise your left arm. Okay. All right. Some of you have both arms working. Some of you don't have any arms working. So perhaps there's an error in your algorithm. So the bluish wing says stay or wants to say, how do you think things are going to shape up? With
People Crackett mentioned that we saw the pandemic, but it doesn't need to the sectoral growth. What would they be from a marketing perspective, from a business development perspective, and from an institution's perspective? What do you think are going to be the key drivers of growth for the sector that we're in?
Yeah, I'd like to make, and I'd like to start with your experience. In this sector, as I said, small prediction, short-time predictions is hard. Some of the view are allowing the traders, influencers, and the other traders. Some of them try through technical indicators or cycles from the other markets as well, not just for the Web3 spaces. If you are a trader, you should use
to all market indicators globally and blindly. So we saw the AI still playing over it. RWAs are maybe over there in here, but still we have missing the adaptation of there. Some people are missing through this sector's kind. Still we are very early in terms of the technological side because we know Bitcoin, know how to buy Bitcoin, for example, the Albank. Why Albank is a centralized exchange, but ecosystem is decentralized. Why Albank in here? Why centralized structures still in here in this decentralized ecosystem? Probably you don't ask this question to you because of the adaptation, because of these other sectors, other players try then comes into the play, get into the play. For example, the transportation sector, it's a huge transportation sector is a really huge sector, but still, if I'm not wrong, 2% of the transportation companies are just using Web3, but Web3 blockchain is very good database for them, for the unique, transparent, and pure communication and manage their products. That's why we need to adapt it to other sectors to see which one will adapt it easily themselves, and we will make it the other sector. We will be starting to see other sectors as well, this routes.
Well, yeah, we need the live.
Thank you, Mehmet. One driver outside of crypto are going to be governments. And what I noticed and have been noticed in the last few years is increasing authoritarianism on the part of former liberal democracies in the West. You know, trying to legislate against emotions with the Scottish hate speech law. Somehow hatred is going to be a crime. Increased surveillance in central bank digital currencies, cameras all over the place, Big Brother watching us in increasingly more innovative and repressive ways. That, I think, is going to spur a whole new way of innovation as human beings struggle to assert their own autonomy, their own sovereignty, their own freedom, and their own privacy. So I think that's going to drive greater decentralization and a greater focus on privacy. If the government is not going to take care of me and my family, if I'm going to be assaulted by the government, right, in all sorts of ways, then I'm going to have to take care of myself and my family and unite with other people who are also interested in that. And that'll mean creating structures outside of central control.
So let's say one quick thing right off the bat where you said, I want to connect to this point just a little. I want to interact with the audience here. In the U.S., there's an inside joke when it comes to the government. You got the judiciary, you got the executive, you got the legislature. That's how the government works, those three. There's a fourth power. Does anyone want to raise their hands and think, what's that fourth thing? It's a joke. What do you think it is? BlackRock. Forget about governments. Forget what you think about governments. BlackRock is basically government. That's another important driver I will mention. So BlackRock, if BlackRock says we're going ahead with this, the company with the most assets under management in the whole world, if they say we are going ahead with meme coins, we are going ahead with meme coins. If they say Bitcoin is a store of value, Bitcoin is a store of value. Their word is stronger than governments because they have all the money. Unfortunately, money as we know it rules the world. So that's one driver, BlackRock. Second driver, governments 100%. There has to be proper KYC procedures in place, AML, counter-terrorist financing. And I think, unfortunately, in the future of DeFi is unfortunately CeFi because of all the KYC, AML procedures coming in place. So those two, governments, BlackRock, and of course, you have to have a proper value proposition. Why you're creating this for a reason? What's your white paper? What's the benefits of having such cryptocurrencies with this? Like, I mean, why do we have to reinvent the wheel? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Those are my 3 points. Go ahead.
I actually agree with you on that. So the thing is, for me, the most inspiring thing about blockchain is because it's against the censorship, right? It's against to one person power or institutions or governments, and it gives back us to our power and freedom. And by doing that, I do believe, because the feature of blockchain is going to be, as I mentioned before, huge. It's already becoming one because of the nature of this, the centralized nature of the blockchain. And I also would like to add something, I think we didn't touch that, because of the getting worse in each country, especially out from Turkey. And the inflation in our country is right now, it's maybe 60 or 50%. It's getting bigger and bigger. And right now, that is why Turkey is becoming a very adopted country in terms of crypto, because our currency is already losing its power, its value. And that's why people are turning back to blockchain even more. Yeah, that's, I think, my answer.
I think one common driver of change that all of us mentioned is regulations, and we've seen a lot of changes in terms of global regulations. But let's talk about your own geographies, a little bit of background. We already spoke about you guys being from Germany and now inflation being the problem, which in turn has led to the adoption of cryptocurrencies. How's it looking like in US or where you're from, crypto region? We can talk about our geographies, how the narrative is looking like there, and how far are we from the right regulations. And also, I know that you feel that there should be no regulations when it comes to crypto, but I disagree a little bit when it comes to that. But we hear from one of our panelists. I think we then start from no regulations, and you then go on to
Well, this is a little bit curious because I worked as a child protection social worker, and I used the framework of the 1989 Children's Act, which a human rights lawyer has told me is not just the best child welfare legislation in the world, it's considered to be the best example of any legislation in any sector, in any industry. But it was created by the three main parties in Britain working together. Like, what's the best thing for children? What's the best thing for parents? What's the best thing to ensure their rights are protected? And what's the best thing to ensure that the welfare of children is never compromised? So it's just an incredibly balanced and I think fair piece of legislation. Unlike a lot of the legislation that has been coming our way in the last few years, really since lockdown. So one of the things I deal with is domestic abuse. And typically it's a man controlling a woman, the mother, physically or emotionally saying things like, I'm going to tell you when you're going to go out. By the way, I will link this to crypto, okay? I'm going to tell you when you're going to go out. I'm going to tell you what you have to wear. I'm going to tell you who you could associate with. I'm going to tell you how long you're going to go out. And don't worry about having an independent income. I'll give you some pin money. If there's no control, no say over their lives, and it's harmful for children because they get the idea that that's the way that a healthy relationship is. Well, it isn't. Conversation played out at a national scale, the same conversation. The government saying to me, saying to you, saying to us, I'm going to tell you when you can go out. I'm going to tell you what you have to wear. I'm going to tell you who you can associate with, how far you can go, how long you can go out for. Don't worry about having an independent income. I'll give you some in money. Oh, and this is all for your own good. So then human beings, as people, we lose autonomy, we lose sovereignty, we lose freedom. And it is just an abuse of power. So when it comes to that, when governments no longer take care of people, when they're no longer our representatives, because in the US Constitution, government for the people, by the people, that the people are sovereign. And it's the same in the UK with the 1688 Bill of Rights, and people don't know about. Parliament is, the parliamentarians are representatives of the people. When there's actually a clause in that, a very little known clause, that in the UK, in the 1688 Bill of Rights, they cannot pass any legislation that's to the prejudice of the people. Now, when governments stop passing legislation or imposing rules that are to the prejudice of the people, then I think we have a duty to resist that. I'm not interested in that sort of regulation. I'm interested in government as serving us, not as oppressing us. So there, and I think the balance has gone too far the wrong way, right? Yeah. And to why I think what we need and what I think will happen, because the nature of the human spirit is a move to decentralization and greater privacy, and people are striving for autonomy and sovereignty, as they always have done throughout history. And then with regards to BlackRock, well, they don't own everything. It's the people who own BlackRock that own everything, right? And their partners, Vanguard, and their partners, we don't know who's Vanguard, right? When you know about asset manager, and their partners who State Street as well, another asset manager. They're the ones pulling on the strings in the background. Thank you.
That's an amazing, and who wouldn't love the idea of a free society? What do you have to say to that, Nana?
So, people of government or government of people. So, our topic was prediction of the rise, and we talk about the early adapting. When will the government be adapted? Actually, the government's one of the earliest adapters, but they are just observing how communities, how people are reacting to a new future. So they are standing on the backgrounds, they are just observing, and they are existing as late adapters. So then that's the important things, how people react. For example, Turkey is the one of the top crypto adapters evolved. That's why someone says inflation, someone says others, but Turkey is not top high inflation. Argentina or Brazil more high at the inflation, but they don't have that kind of crypto. The people who want to discover new things they want to wish to touch the future, they work of the both financial system or technology or authorities or the government. If there is a pressure, then people want to find another way to delegate, to cross this pressure and create their systems. Okay, there is also getting easy, make it easy, reach this easy way, but that's also point. But the main point is that to cross that of the institutional pressures, centralization pressure. What I am seeing already, we can see now there's over the 80 million population in one geography, and there is a every 3 out 1 person have crypto funds, Bitcoin sellers, blah blah. They are completely okay. Most of them that don't know how blockchain runs, and also they don't know what is blockchain. But they know there is a new thing is occurring over here, and this will be the future of financial system. And if we become an early adapter of that, we will gonna have something. We will gonna be the something big Arco something.
So that's how it is working. And my fruit I need is soon. Well, Tom. Yes, yeah, I think I'm on what?
You sure you don't want to say this? I only have one word, guys. Only one word. For all the panelists here and for all the audience here after what they said, I only have one word. Monero. You don't know what Monero is? Go look it up. Monero, XMR. And the only private blockchain out there, fully decentralized and fully anonymous, that you can interact with and pay. The only downside with Monero is, unfortunately, they have been blacklisted by exchanges in the name of government abuse of power, which you rightly said. But go look up Monero. I'm on the Monero side. I opened some Monero myself, and I'm on the Monero team all the way over Bitcoin any day.
Yes, so then, and like cards
To count it.
They're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Then, Marines. Adele, sorry, Adam. You may know now, I'm one of the crew at Pirate Chain in that parade. Pirate Chain, but was spawned by Komodo. And Komodo was a fork of Zcash, which was a fork of Bitcoin. Yeah. And the developers at Komodo were thinking, well, what if every single transaction was protected by ZK stocks? Every single one. And they came up with Pirate Chain. Now, Komodo had developed a DEX, atomic DEX.io, fully decentralized. And it does true atomic swaps in a decentralized fashion. No custody, no KYC. It works on iOS, it works on Android, it works on web wallet, it works on desktop. So here is a decentralized application that allows for cross-chain swaps, including Pirate Chain. I don't know if Monero's on it, but there are loads and loads of currencies. We're going to have more and more. I know there's Forward Chain. I know very little about 4.2, which is our non-commenting from it. I'm sure it's communist. But there is going to be this move towards decentralization because that's the nature of the human spirit.
I'm on that ship as well. So,
like we are on that ship. We'd like to be on that ship. However, the idea of true decentralization is truly debatable, is what I feel. What do you guys feel? How far are we from a truly decentralized future? Is it even a future? Is it too idealistic? What are your thoughts on that? We have about a couple of minutes left, but I'll take the liberty of staying 5 more minutes for this panel.
He's right. I don't think it's that far away. And why I say that is, like, it'll take time to reorganize society. But if I look at the monetary system, it is crumbling. I think the first, and I did commentary on this in my channel, the first major fiat currency to collapse will be the euro. The European Union has been in such healthy state from 2008. The 2014 to 2022, they had negative interest rates. Negative interest rates is zero interest rates. There's no money. The euro is broke. The ECB is broke. So what they're going to do, they're going to use euro bonds, and that will mean they've had to tax European citizens to pay for the euro bonds. But the European citizens don't have a meaningful vote. So now they've got taxation without representation because MEPs can't propose legislation. They can't veto the legislation. So why did people put up with that? So, and then at some point, it's going to get too expensive to pay for all the bureaucrats and the enforcers to keep in place this top-heavy, centralized, repressive system. And then meantime, I had some very good news. I saw Zero News today that the U.S. troops, 1,000 of them, are leaving Niger. So there's a rise of post-colonial countries that are like, no, we're not going to put up with Europeans extracting our resources and building their societies on the backs of our neighbor and our resources. So I don't think it's very far away. Now, I live in the UK. It ain't going to be so very unique. But hey, Bob, all of them in some decentralized community somewhere. So I guess we are in future. The time is already without people with decline the decentralized future system or with them. Time is arrived and counting. You can just get in the board or you can count plates after us. We are the early adopters actually. We are the lucky ones. That's if you can imagine how it started with the smartphones, it just happened in 5 to 6 years. But just imagine 10 years ago, there is just the smartphones with just buttons that you can't imagine with the touch of screen and getting traction, blah blah. It just happened. It probably it's going the same thing happening. So we need to just be the art of this feature adventure. Hey, final thoughts on this one. I love the idea of decentralized communities, but at the end of the day, when it gets too big, you scale too high, 100,000 members and plus, somebody has to do the admin. Fortunately, somebody has to make sure that no one is causing disruption or disorder in the community. They'll be sending nudes, for example, but somebody has to have some point of contact if something goes wrong. Lost them down. You have someone to ask. And who's in charge? I have the right to ask who's in charge. Somebody has to be in charge. So how can I be the, I'm just trying to be a devil's advocate, at the same time be a realistic devil's advocate that you can't have a 100,000 member group that's completely fully decentralized. This won't work. There's going to be disruption. There's going to be anarchy. So there has to be a source of central point, but the central point can also be agnostic of the fact that, in a way that they don't discriminate, You have a query to say, they don't need to know who you are, but you're part of the member. You're part of the member's club. They don't need to know your KYC information, date of birth, no. But you have a query, you're a human, and your query matters. So that's my main point in that.
It's actually interesting. I'm in question for example, like how, in your idea, how you think it's gonna be possible to bring sensor for maybe, I don't know, how it's gonna be that in a decentralized system? How do you think it should be?
Yeah, that's what I said. So the way it can only be decentralized is look, there's a central authority only where there needs to be a central authority. The rest is if the vote is as a particular notion that they want to go from, they want to enter, let's say, NYC Dubai, and they're based here. They all vote. Let's go to NYC Dubai and have an exhibition there, right? There's going to be a vote. Who manages the ballot? Somebody has to see vote yes, vote no. Somebody has to see that. Somebody has to arrange it, right? So if it's and everybody arranges it, there are 100,000 people with 100,000 differing opinions. How do you manage that? So by decentralized, the whole idea of a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, is, okay, cool, you're all owners in the sense that you all own the NFT. So you're an owner, but that doesn't mean that there's no rules in place, rules and regulations that you need to abide by, and be respectful, be kind to one another. And if there's somebody causing disorder, what if you might have to intervene and kick the person outside of the group? Refund their money for the token. I'm not saying you should, but if this happens, what do you do? And it's an open question. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I was curious, and that's all my question. I wanted to know your opinion.
What do options by with the communities? You can make this thing. You can just tell the options I come in to choose. That's good.
Absolutely. We have just a few seconds left, but right before we wrap, I get back to our dominant discussion. Crypto predictions, what's next? Just quick 30 seconds, we could all talk about it.
What?
We'll start from, yeah. Remember.
What's next? We are waiting. We solved the spot ETFs in minutes, and we are sleeping and I'm upside. So next we'll come. Not we are in the blue camp after my within will be in the massive and easy crypto market is waiting us.
So the bull is coming, where I see? And is everyone getting crypto rich as the bull comes?
Once
Is the
John, in final words.
like maybe with them. I think and we are already involved, married. And maybe I wanted to think I don't know when what is true. But no, I do believe that we are already involved in them. It's an issue where we're only in the beginning, so yeah, I'm against getting numbers. But I do believe it's an involved thinking. But I mean again.
I don't know. I'm kind of bored of first class tickets. I might buy an island. See how the sparking goes. But I think we're definitely on the way to our hurricane.
All right, thank you so much. Time's up, and we see what's next when Abner tells us that. Thank you so much, Alex. And I sort of want to panelists to write